Well, alrighty, Sigma Racing fans, we are live here tonight from Monaco, and it's going to be interesting with the Bridge to Cup bracket now underway. All these guys are head-to-head with other drivers, so it's going to be mano a mano, at least for the next 4 weeks, as to who works their way into the championship finale. Starting pole position, Atlee Weiss. Huge move from the 84 team to start front row here tonight at Monaco. Behind that, you got Dwight, 41 of Cooper Dwight. Tim Cording. Jimmie Logano just was our winner in the last race. So starting in the top 5 here at Monaco is huge because track position means everything. Rich Roy is in the championship battle. Alan Malcolm, Luis Rodriguez is in the championship battle. Jamie Horseman, Spinham Walker in the battle. Lucas Holmes in the battle. John Hagan in the battle. Scott Speed in the battle. Bradley Ream in the battle. Jack Davis. So there's a whole bunch of our championship contenders right there lined up on the track here. Krista Cower as well as Gannon Bird all in the championship battle. Then you got Kevin Xavier, Ryan Little, Dave Steele Jr. starting on a bit of a downhill, kind of on a backwards trend here. He's mid-pack and has his work cut out for him tonight. Cannon Gage, Anheuser Wagner, Kyler Sestre, Kyle Ottawa, Andrew Moger, and Roach rounding out the field here today. 32 laps. The pit strategy cycle looks to be 48 laps. So I don't know if pit strategy is even going to be much of a factor here today. It's going to be pretty much if everyone can make it through the turns cleanly. Very few people actually probably thought stock cars on Monaco was going to be a thing, and here we go. Our Bridge to Cup series at Monaco.
Let's make sure everything gets right here, Jim. Guys, gonna be coming to you here in a sec. Big day, big day. Let's make the most of it. Good luck.
Yeah, as this is somewhat of a wild card for these drivers, it's unknown how this will play out tonight, but we will have to keep our eyes on the head-to-head battles here and figure out just who might be on the right direction here. Crazy as it is, Luis Rodriguez actually has a higher starting position than Dave Steele Jr. That's seed number 1 and 16. And Dave Steele Jr., as they set up for the start of this race, is actually losing to his head-to-head rival here. So Atlee Weiss will be facing up against Anheuser Wagner in the 65. And he's already got the advantage since he took pole position here. And it looks like 65 is going to be starting deeper in the field. Yeah, right about towards the back. So Atlee's got a pretty solid start here at Monaco. Pace car's off. We're going to get going. Green flag in hand. Green flag waving as we roar into the playoffs here. First turn always a handful here at Monaco. Carries a little bit more special meaning here today, knowing that this is for, a stab at the championship. A lot of these drivers may or may not make the cut. And it could all come down to Monaco here being one of those races that they needed a good finish at. Atlee settles in with the lead as everyone is slowly working their way through the very technical Monaco racetrack here. Jimmie Logano already gains the spot. He is up to third. Tim Cording falls back to fourth. The 29 there of Rich Roy, his attack, he's going to have to beat the 09 car of Jack Davis heads up here today. So currently as they run, he would be beating Jack Davis on the head-to-head matchup. Another couple spots back, Luis Rodriguez is beating Dave Steele Jr., so that could be a huge upset. 16th seed in our bracket, and he's looking good here at Monaco right from the beginning. So 95 is going to be up against the 66 of Roach. And Roach currently running, looks like he's quite a ways back. Yeah, he's about 15 spots back of his competition in the head-to-head matchup. So won't overcomplicate things with following the head-to-head matchups too carefully here, as this is only the first race in the championship chase playoffs that we've got. The one high note, Atlee Weiss at the front and leading laps here already at Monaco. And for those of you that aren't quite familiar with the playoff formation that we've got here, it's going to be 4 races of head-to-head matchups, and from those 4 head-to-head matchup races, we will determine a winning record for those that get either 2-2, 3-1, or 4-0 will be eligible to race for the championship finale. However, those that go 1-3 or 0-4 will be barred from the championship and won't be eligible to win it. So it's really quite the turnaround here for some of these folks that need a little bit of luck to come their way. Kind of adds a little zest of spice to the championship battle. Some might warrant it as being a little bit unbalanced and not exactly rewarding a full season as we have so far. The drivers that have put together a full season, it's kind of, if you get hot at the right time, you might be yep, and of course. So I'm thinking I gotta be careful with the camera angles here at Monaco because we just had a full-blown crash. So I'm gonna have to stop the stream, reset it, and hopefully we've had so many problems with bridge to cup on road courses that this is almost a given anymore. I don't know why bridge to cup is such a problem child, but hold tight. Technical difficulties, we'll get back as
Favor. touch on your seatbelts.
Gentlemen, start! Go!
Well, on the reset here, it gives Atlee still pole position. And I might have to just watch this whole race from helicopter cam. Yeah, it's too noisy. Maybe far chase camera? That'll be mildly better. Oh, Dave Steele makes the advantage of the game crashing to inherit a higher starting position here. Jimmie Logano about the same. Well, sometimes NR decides to crash unexpectedly and changes out the whole outcome of the way things are laid out. So Dave Steele Jr. gets the big win here on the reset as he's up against the 48 of Luis Rodriguez, and he is in front of him now. Our marker will be lap 3. We were able to make to lap 3 before the game crashed, so if we can get past lap 3, I have confidence that the game should function normally. We'll see. Apologies for the technical difficulties, and we should be back and rolling here just in a short, brief moment. Atlee Weiss still with the lead. This time, Rich Roy up to second. Scott Speed and Dave Steele Jr. right there in the second row. Jimmie Logano and Cooper Dwight also in the mix. So we now have 4 of our championship competitors in the top 4. Actually, it's kind of different having a rolling start at Monaco, where you're used to them being on a standing start, a stationary start. Still trying to figure out which camera angle is ideal here at Monaco. It's a tough track to figure that camera angle out. So, same thing, at least for the rerun, is Atlee Weiss leading at the front of the field. That didn't change. However, the head-to-head matchups did change slightly. Rich Roy in the championship mix, and he needs to outduel the 09 of Jack Davis. And Jack Davis actually has 3 wins on the season. So Davis has had a good year here in 2024. But unfortunately, here at Monaco, in his head-to-head matchup, he's running 9th up against the 29 who's running 2nd. So he's got a long road ahead to try and beat his matchup here today. Dave Steele definitely gains the big advantage from the game crash in the first time. I went ahead and disabled better cautions, expecting that to have been the problem. We will see. We are now on lap 3, so we're getting back into the realm of where we were when the game first crashed. And honestly, I think it's just this mod. This mod, for whatever reason, tends to struggle, especially when you throw them on a road course. It's like you know, chicken with its head cut off, almost. Of course, the first head-to-head matchup does not equate to a whole lot. All these drivers that are in the chase, they're going to have to get 2 wins to be locked in. So basically, the magic number is 2. You don't want to lose 2 races, but you also want to win 2 races. As long as you can win 2 races, you will be locked in to the championship finale at Phoenix. And it'll be a no-holds-barred, kind of like NASCAR's playoff system, where it'll be only those drivers locked in, and the best finishing driver at Phoenix will take home the championship. Alrighty, I'm not terribly worried about jinxing it. We are on lap 4. We made it past the initial spot the race where it crashed last time. So Atlee Weiss has led all 4 laps so far. In second, it's Rich Roy, Dave Steele Jr., Scott Speed, Cooper Dwight, Jimmie Logano, Tim Cording, Lucas Holmes, who is in the title conversation here. Let me do a quick double check on who he's head-to-head with right now. His head-to-head matchup is the 98 of Krista Cower. So if we look, oh wow, look at how close that is. Krista Cower and Lucas Holmes are running 8th and 9th. So it's the difference of 1 spot on track. That's what is so special about this head-to-head matchup, that we're going to see moments like this where a driver simply has the advantage by 1 spot. And that 1 spot means a whole lot for either driver. Next in line is Cannon Gage, and his head-to-head matchup is the 19 of Bradley Ream, which looks like he is actually outperforming Bradley Ream here. If we go back a couple spots. Oofty, Bradley Ream having a rough showing here at Monaco early on, 22nd on field. Very uncharacteristic from that 19 team. We've seen him run up front, do well. Unfortunately, in a head-to-head matchup here today, he might come out the loser on that. Uh-oh, Jack Davis goes the lap down, so he must have made a pit stop. Wonder if that was an unscheduled pit stop from the 09 of Jack Davis. The only way he could really go a lap down here was to have made a pit stop. Oh, he's still on pit road, so let's see if maybe a mechanical failure. Doesn't look like there's any mechanical failure that popped up. And the game seems like it wants to... Oh, he is retired, so there... We had an accident. Championship contender from 9th place here. Let's see what happens to Jack Davis. This is going to be a hard way to start off your bracket campaign here in Bridge to Cup with a retirement. He already had his hands full as he had to try and catch up to the 29 of Rich Roy in the head-to-head matchup for today. I still haven't seen where he's made a mistake yet. It showed that he got wound up in an accident. Everything seems fine. Wow, that was it. Made contact with the wall, and his day is over. Jack Davis makes a miscalculation. Oh. And that's the problem with Monaco, is even just the slightest of miscalculations could put your day in jeopardy. This track is very unforgiving, very tight quarters. 09 of Jack Davis sustained enough damage when he hit the Armco barrier there, and his day is over. And that could happen, you know, this track could come out and bite just about anyone. We've got cautions disabled for our road course events, as always throughout Sigma. Only if there is a track blocking event where we might have, or if someone flips on their roof and it's necessary to throw the caution for safety. Obviously it's a game, but still give the idea that it's a safety caution. That's really the only time we would see a caution here today at Monaco. So we will go ahead and leave it to a crank it up here. I'm going to hop on with Dave Steele Jr. and give us a chase cam. And a good old fashioned crank it up for those that are tuned in watching. So it would be a fascinating story to see a winless driver that's fighting for a championship here. 29, Rich Roy has yet to win a race in Bridge to Cup season so far. Yet, as he's running right now, he is beating the competition that he needs to beat here today, and would be eligible to pretty much knock out, half of the required eligibility to work his way into the championship finale in about a month time. So it's 29 of Rich Roy running second, and it could be one of those kind of Cinderella stories to see Rich Roy fighting for the championship against the likes of Dave Steele Jr. and even Atlee Weiss. Of course, we are only 10 laps into the 32 lap event here today, so only about 1/3 of the way. But Rich Roy, he's turning competitive laps here right with Atlee, so might not even count him out here for being potentially able to win the race. It's actually kind of a moot point for Atlee Weiss to win the Bridge to Cup championship, since he has already worked his way up to Cup. This was kind of a come together last minute opportunity to get Atlee Weiss in the seat and compete for a championship. He could potentially rack up a championship in 2/3 of our system. I guess probably about half if you consider ARCA, but there's most likely no way that he'll step down to ARCA. So we'll consider it 2/3 of the higher tier of Sigma racing between trucks, Bridge to Cup, and Cup, as Atlee is your defending Cup champion. He's looking to try and add a Bridge to Cup title to his name, and it would be interesting if he was able to do it here. What would actually happen is our driver who finishes second in him is going to become the eligible graduate to the Cup Series. So it does kind of change things up a little bit. Some people, if Atlee is your title winner here in 2024, it'll be whoever is the first non-Cup contender that gets the graduation up into Cup. I had some rules set aside to keep this from happening, but sometimes rules are just meant to be broken. And I liked the idea of having Atlee Weiss compete for the British Cup Championship. And it's actually provided kind of a spark for this series. Getting some extra wins from a Cup regular, it helps these guys that are in the Bridge to Cup series gauge their talent. So yeah, Atlee has kind of been stinking up the show since he joined Bridge to Cup to fill in for the empty driver. But it gives us a good benchmark and allows a lot of these Bridge to Cup drivers to actually better themselves. So it's a win-win for the most part. Competition comes out victorious on it, and even the fans that are tuning in to watch it get a little bit more excitement out of the races. Looks like something might have happened to Jimmie Logano to have fallen back to 22nd here. Let's actually go through the laps and figure out how he's dropped all the way back. 228? Oh, maybe a pit stop. Yep, there you go. Has a, what probably is an unscheduled pit stop. Oh wow, the 35 of Dave Steele Jr. had an oil leak at one point here. 35 looks like he's stayed out there, and actually he's dropped off too. So oil leak from the 35 drops him down pit road. Jimmie Logano had to come down pit road for unscheduled pit stop. That shakes things up a little bit. The 48 now beaten the 35 of Dave Steele Jr. in the head-to-head matchup. That's going to be hard. Oh, the 65 blowing up, maybe? That's unusual. It doesn't even say what the mechanical failure was. He actually gets it on pit road. So some more of your title contenders kind of having a bit of a struggle here. As we're starting to catch up to halfway in the race, Atlee Weiss has not had a bad moment yet, but he is starting to give up a little bit of a deficit to the 29 of Rich Roy. What was a 5-second lead is down to 3.95. We are officially halfway through the race here at Monaco. And Rich Roy actually losing some ground here to Atlee Weiss. Sitting in third, it's Scott Speed, Cooper Dwight, Lucas Holmes, Krista Cower, Cannon Gage, Alan Malcolm, Luis Rodriguez, Kevin Xavier, and Roach. Tom Cording, Andrew Moger, Kyle Ottawa, Kyler Sestre. Looks like Tim Cording made a pit stop and drops all the way back to 17th. John Hagan on the attack here. Dave Steele Jr., Bradley Ream, Ryan Little, Jimmie Logano, Spinham Walker, Gannon Bird, and your leader, Atlee Weiss. So with only 2 retirements in the race, the 65 of Anheuser-Wagner, a title contender, and the 09 of Jack Davis, also a title contender. So must be scheduled pit stops for some of our leaders as Atlee Weiss came down pit road for a quick gas and go. Krista Cower on the attack here. Atlee. Oh, the 19 ended up with an accident. Another title contender here. The 19 of Bradley Ream out of the race at lap 16. He must have had a severe crash throughout the track here. Makes it through most of the lap, but coming through... Ooh. That was it right there. I think he clipped the wall. Wow, I don't see where he actually made contact, where he might have actually sustained damage. How bizarre. Made an entire lap, but got knocked out with an accident here. Oh, pit road's glitchy. Well, there we have it. So the 19 out of the race, another title contender. Seems like our leaders have decided to make their pit stops, and that has shaken things up a little bit as Krista Cower now leads over Luis Rodriguez and Atlee Weiss. Atlee, however, is still beating his head-to-head matchup, the 65 of Anheuser-Wagner, who is retired out of the race under an accident. So, 65 out of the mix. Bradley Ream, unfortunately, going to lose the head-to-head matchup here today, as well as the 09 of Jack Davis, who is also retired out. So, the three drivers knocked out early in this one. It's going to be a hard hit in their championship campaign. The huge upset here today is going to be that 48 of Luis Rodriguez. I don't see very many people having him tapped for a second place finish. and especially in his first head-to-head matchup being against the number 1 seed, our number 16 seed is running second in the closing laps here at Monaco. That is just crazy. Luis Rodriguez might be counting his lucky stars if he's gonna be one step closer to fighting for the championship at the end of the season here. But even with pit stops and strategy that have played out here, Ali Weiss still has both of the top 2 within his sight here. Atlee not giving up. He's going to try to give it everything he's got to get the win. Yeah, this 3-dog fight at the front of the field couldn't be any closer in the closing laps here, as you've got Krista Kauer leading over Luis Rodriguez and Atlee Weiss. Weiss definitely has the faster wheels there in the 84, but we could be surprised here between Krista and Luis as to who might actually be able to upset the apple cart of Atlee Weiss. As things run right now, Krista Kauer, Luis Rodriguez, Atlee Weiss, and Rich Roy are all outperforming their head-to-head competitors. Which is crazy, especially since Luis Rodriguez is seated in 16th place, and he's outdoing the number 1 seed here today. Krista Kauer, she is outdoing the 26 of Lucas Holmes. Atlee Weiss is outdoing the 65 of Anheuser-Wagner. Rich Roy in the 29 is outdoing, oh, I mentioned that already, the 09 of Jack Davis. And the 95 himself is outdoing the 66 of Roach. So your top 5 right here, all looking to get their first win here in the bracket. Roach right there in 7th, so Roach not too far back. He could still get into the mix if he gets a little bit of luck to fall his way. Lucas Holmes, as I mentioned, is already losing to the likes of Krista Cower. Kyler Sestre needs to outduel the 88 of John Hagen. And would you look at that, just a couple spots back. John Hagen in 14th, Kyler Sestre in 12th. So Sestre doing everything he needs to do to move on. Dave Steele Jr. in 15th is a rough way to go out here today. Alan Malcolm, Jimmie Logano, Spinham Walker. Spinham Walker needs to outperform the 46 of Gannon Bird. And he is doing that, as Gannon Bird's all the way back to 21st. Cannon Gage needs to outduel Bradley Ream, which he's going to successfully achieve that today because Bradley Ream got knocked out with a mechanical failure on an accident. And so there you have it. Some upsets, some surprises with our head-to-head bracket. And still a handful of laps to go. 7 laps remain here at Monaco. And it's not settled. It's not totally locked away for the 98 of Krista Cower. She can breathe easy knowing that the 2 guys behind her are not a head-to-head matchup. So this 98 car, even though a win would feel so much sweeter, they don't necessarily have to pull all the stops to secure this win. Well, we're down to just 4 laps to go, and things are tightening up at the front of the field here. Atlee Weiss still trying to find some openings to work his way up back into the lead. He's going to have to find his way around Luis Rodriguez here, which looks like he's trying to do. This is the tightest they have been at the front of the field all day, as we've got 5-6 cars within all of the same zip code here. Might be an opportunity here for Atlee going into the high-speed chicane. Not quite enough to get around the 48, still behind him. But he's still got about 5 circuits left to figure it out. Now down to actually 3 circuits left around Monaco here. Ooh, Atlee under attack by the 29 of Rich Roy. Roy not wanting to let this race get away from him. He wants to try and capitalize and get as many positions as he can to try and fight for what could be a potential win if things go sour for our lead 2. Atlee's got quite a gap to make up here again. The 48 and the 98 right there in front of him. Our top 6, you could throw a blanket over them. They are right here in the mix for the final laps at Monaco. The one thing is for certain, passing is at a premium here at Monaco. It's very, very hard to find that opening and execute. As you can see with Atlee, he is trying, he's moving around the track trying to find that open spot on Luis Rodriguez. But Rodriguez continues to hold down second. Atlee Weiss continues to stay in third. Next time by, it's only going to be a couple laps left to go for our leaders here. Krista Cower putting on quite a show here at Monaco. She could potentially secure her second win, and at a very high-stake moment in the season when the championship is on the line. She's only had 1 win so far this season, and getting a second win would only help tremendously in the venture for the overall championship at the end of the year here. Two laps remaining. Still wouldn't count out Atlee Weiss at this point. He's right there. And he's able to pounce if the 48 does happen to make a mistake. Ooh, Atlee making another dive bomb move there. Not able to execute, but now making another dive bomb move. Atlee's ready to get back to the front of the field here. He's not trying to waste any time. He needs to find his way around the 48 and do that quickly. Alrighty, just a couple laps left remaining here at Monaco, as Krista Cower gets 2 laps to go. Reminder from the flagman. Man, Atlee just not able to find the opening to get by the 2 cars in front of him. He is struggling here to make up the difference. Krista Cower continues to lead and hold the position with authority here. Number 98 Subaru has seen victory lane once this season. That one win secured her way into the chase bracket. And now, with the bracket on full tilt here, that 98 looking to be one of the higher finishing of the bracket drivers. So Krista Cower is now going to be down to just 1 lap to go here at Monaco to get the job done. Flagman has the white flag in hand, ready to wave it. Krista Cower has been dominant towards the second half of this race after she earned the lead through pit strategy. Atlee Weiss got knocked out. There's the white flag. It's waving. 1 more lap to go here at Monaco. Is Krista going to be able to hold on, or will Luis Rodriguez have something to say about it? Atlee still continuing to try to do everything he can, but still struggling to get past that 48 car, who sits there in second. We might as well term the first round of the bracket one of the huge upsets. Your number 16 seed is running second here right now. The 48 of Luis Rodriguez is going to beat the number 1 seed, Dave Steele Jr. here today, and really put his name in the hat for a potential championship. Krista Cower as well as Atlee Weiss, both of them are going to be in title contention. Rich Roy, Scott Speed, your top 5 really are your top 5 in title contention here. As all they got to do is bring it home here. It's on the last lap, coming around the last set of technical corners here at Monaco. Krista Cower still holding that lead. She's going to keep off pit road here and just run it to completion. That 98 car has 1 win on the season. Now go ahead and add number 2 to Krista Cower's name here in the Bridge to Cup Championship in 2024. Coming home second, Luis Rodriguez. Third, Atlee Weiss. 4th was Rich Roy. 5th, Scott Speed. 6th, Cooper Dwight. 7th was Roach. 8th was Tom Cording. 9th, Andrew Moger. 10th, Kyle Ottawa. 11th, Lucas Holmes. 12th, Kyler Sestre. 13th, Tim Cording. 14th, John Hagan. And Dave Steele Jr. was able to muster a top 15 out of a dismal day. Alan Malcolm, Jimmie Logano, Kevin Xavier, Spinham Walker, Gannon Bird, Cannon Gage, Ryan Little, and back to our leader of the race. As we had 3 retirements here today, the 19 of Bradley Ream, the 65 of Anheuser-Wagner, and the 09 of Jack Davis. Looks like Krista Cower just taking a victory lap here on the slowdown lap. She is your winner here today, and definitely puts her name in the hat. So it's going to be interesting to see what Krista has to offer. It's crazy how slow she's taking it on her cooldown lap here. But our Bridge to Cup bracket is underway, and things couldn't be more topsy-turvy as we're now 1 race in the books for the playoffs. Krista Cower takes the day here at Monaco. Luis Rodriguez 2nd, Atlee Weiss 3rd, Rich Roy 4th, Scott Speed 5th. The other title contenders, you had Roach in 7th. You had Lucas Holmes in 11th, Kyler Sestre in 12th, John Hagan in 14th, Dave Steele Jr. in 15th, Spin Walker 19th, Cannon again in Bird 20th, Cannon Gage 21st. And then the other 3 left in our championship battle was Bradley Ream, Anheuser-Wagner, and Jack Davis, who round out the bottom of the field here. And so that is a wrap for the first race in our playoffs for Bridge to Cup this season. 2024 Bridge to Cup playoffs underway, and Krista Cower surprises the field with a somewhat shock victory there. So ultimately, thanks for everyone tuning in. We do have 1 more race on the schedule for this week, and that would be our Sylvania Cup Series event. Could be within the next 24 hours that we'll see that race take stage. So with that, though, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.